Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dig into a simple little story with a surprisingly powerful message. It's really all about a trap that, let's be honest, we can all fall into, forgetting to be thankful for the good things we already have. So let's start with a feeling I bet we've all had at some point. When you have so much going for you, so many things to be happy about, but you still feel like something's missing. That exact feeling is what kicks off our story today. And this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. This weird habit we have of looking right past all the good stuff in our lives and instead zeroing in on what we think we don't have. It's such a simple little trap, but man, it can cause a lot of needless unhappiness. All right, so let's jump into the story. The legend goes that this all happened way back when the world was brand new. God had just created all the animals and was getting ready to hand out some special gifts. Now, the story makes a really big point of saying that God was generous. And this wasn't just about handing out stuff. It says he actually found real joy in giving to every single creature he'd made. And you can see here just how different the gifts were. Every animal got something totally unique, something that was perfect for them. So the elephant got strength, the fox got its cleverness, the dog got faithfulness, and look at the peacock, it got those amazing, colorful feathers. The key thing is, every single one of them was happy with what they got. But just as the day was wrapping up, one tiny little creature flew in, and unlike all the others, this one wasn't there to celebrate. It had something completely different on its mind. So God sees this little bee and offers it the same kind of wonderful gifts. He asks, what can I give you? How about some beautiful wings? Or maybe a colorful beak? But nope, the bee wasn't interested in any of that. And this is where the story takes a turn. Instead of asking for a gift of beauty or some special skill, the bee wanted a weapon. It wanted the power to hurt others, to make them afraid. It's that desire to have an edge, not to build something good, but just to feel more powerful than everyone else. So how does God respond to this? Well, you know that old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. The story says that God was really not happy with the bee's wish, but he decided to grant it anyway, maybe to teach a lesson about what these kinds of harmful gifts really cost. And just like that, he gave the bee its weapon. Not huge claws or sharp fangs, but just one tiny, sharp sting. It was small, but it had that deadly power the bee had asked for. At first, the bee was ecstatic. It buzzed all over the place, totally convinced it had gotten the best, most precious gift of all. It felt powerful, it felt important, and it had absolutely no idea what was coming next. But God stopped the bee's celebration short with a pretty serious warning. He explained that this gift wasn't that simple. With its great power came an equally great price. And here it is. The big catch. The bee got exactly what it wanted, a weapon that could kill. But the thing is, the very moment it used that sting to harm another creature, the bee itself would also die. The gift was also a self-destruct button. You can just imagine the bee's horror. It realized it had literally asked for its own downfall. And because of that one bee's envy, the story says that every bee to ever come after would have to live with that same sad fate. So, okay, what's the big takeaway from this simple, kind of sad little story? What are we supposed to learn from the bee's terrible mistake? Let's break that down. The core message is pretty clear, right? It's all about gratitude. It's about appreciating the unique gifts you've already been given instead of being envious of what others have, and especially instead of wishing for something harmful. And of course, this isn't really just a story about a bee. It's more like a mirror for a choice that we all have to make every single day. Are we going to focus on our gifts, or are we going to focus on what we think is missing? And that brings up a really practical question. Being grateful isn't just a feeling, it's an action. So besides just saying thank you, what are some other ways we can actually show that we're thankful in our everyday lives? One of the most powerful ways to really appreciate your own gifts, whether that's your strength or your creativity or just your kindness, is to use them to help somebody else. When you share what you have, you really start to see just how valuable it is. So to wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this final thought. Unlike that poor bee in the story, we can still choose gratitude. So, what's one gift in your life, big or small, that you can be truly thankful for, starting right now?